Hello, my name is Dale Dufay, and I'm doing the audio on this video for Mary Hall. Many of you know that she monitors a lot of things, ISS and webcams and for anomalies, and she also searches Google Earth, which is an excellent tool. You can see many anomalies, not just on land, but many of them are on the seafloor because you have to remember during the ice age there were massive ice caps on both poles. In fact, there's evidence. I remember growing up in the Chicago area, and there was evidence of glaciers that reached all the way down into this area. I used to live in Naperville, and there's a bike trail that goes all the way, quite a ways. It used to be an old railroad track, but along that bike trail, there was glacier ridges, which is the ridge, like picture the glacier as it's moving south, because they're always moving, and the ice caps during the ice age actually reached down here, but as they were moving, they were bringing material with them, and then when they started receding, they left ridges, what they call glacier ridges, which are huge mounds of debris. Most of that debris came from Canada. But that's how far south, there's evidence that that's how far south the glaciers went. So these areas were under miles of ice during the ice age. So think about that. And the rest between the poles or between the ice caps was a very incredible temperate zone. So you have to imagine that all the oceans and seas and everything were 600 miles upwards shallower than they are now. So a lot of this was all above sea level during the ice age. And this is all in the temperate zone. But this is the one area that Mary and I discovered searching Google Earth, which is kind of fun. You just go around the coastline. That's where you find a lot of anomalies, is along the coastline. And right here in the Coral Sea, again, now keep in mind, this was during the Ice Age, was above sea level. But right here is the Great Barrier Reef. So this, took millions, who knows how long it took for the Great Barrier Reef to develop after this area was flooded. Once the ice caps receded and the melted water raised the sea level to where it is now. So you have to keep in mind that this whole area on the east coast of Queensland, Australia, and the Great Barrier Reef was above water during the Ice Age some 12,000 years ago and beyond. But anyway, looking around, we discovered this. I mean, look at this. Lo and behold, what does that look like? I mean, we did a previous video about the possible pyramid base in Nevada, and notice the orientation is almost identical to the one in Nevada. But I believe that this is a pyramid that was under construction before this area all flooded. They were obviously unable to complete it because you can see the ramp work. And if this truly is a pyramid under construction, it shows how they used the ramp and brought the material up. This is 27 miles long, this initial ramp, which would make the grade very low and very easy. I'm guessing around 3% grade, or maybe up 6 degrees at the most, a 6% grade. So it's very slight incline, 27 miles to bring these big blocks up and zigzagged up the one side of this pyramid. So it almost shows how pyramids were constructed. And no doubt they had levitation capabilities, but they still needed ramps, not just for the workers, but probably even for the blocks. Even though they were lighter than they should be and easier to control, they still obviously needed ramps. And again, we have to keep in mind that this is aligned in prehistoric North. During the Ice Age, when there were the ice caps, the North was this way. There's evidence all over, even in some of the ancient temples. You could see where they built the new parts of the temple. They oriented it to current North, but in the older parts, everything's aligned just like this, which would indicate that the way ancient times, the true north was like this. And it's interesting that this is virtually identical to the one alignment of the pyramid in Nevada. It's very, and you can see it's aligned true north, current true north, and this is just phenomenal. If this really is a pyramid, which it looks like to me, and again we searched everywhere along the coast and ocean floors, and there's a couple other anomalies we want to show in videos yet to come. We like to call these Google trotting videos. But this structure there's nothing at all similar to this anywhere on the ocean floor. I mean, you see a lot of tracks and things like this, and those are normal, no doubt. Processes of the Earth's type, I firmly believe that the Earth is growing. It doesn't stay to static size, and that's why we get these stretch marks. What I think they're all over, but there's nothing like this on the ocean floor anywhere. And it looks to me just like a prehistoric pyramid that was not finished. You can see this area, the prehistoric southern area, that they're actually, doing those holes to remove this. The south, the south end of this pyramid, the prehistoric south, and remove the ramp as well. So they were not complete with this, and you can clearly see even in 3D. And keep in mind when 3D, as it turns, sometimes it actually inverts the photo. The picture, it makes the high parts look like they're low. Like this is obviously a high part, and this is a low part, and then around here is the lowest, and this is the peak. So when you'll clearly see the slope, but it starts when you do 3D and it turns, it starts actually inverting the picture and making everything look opposite. So like right now that looks high, like it should. You can see the slope here, and the trench around it in the high area, which they were going to remove, obviously. This could have been like a ziggurat or something. Who knows what it is? But it's an ancient, obviously human-made structure. See how it's starting to invert? Everything that was high looks low. And then when you bring it back to 2D, it still looks inverted. So you got to like true it up north. But see, now it looks correct. But again, keep in mind that this is prehistoric north is this way. It used to be like this. 24,000 years ago, who knows? But they're starting to realize, and there's too much evidence that there were ancient civilizations. Ancients to the ancients, I like to say. Even the ancients that that are recorded, these civilizations were ancient to them. So think about it. It's incredible. Back when True North was like this. And we see it all over, in ancient megalithic sites everywhere, the orientation. But some of the newer sites, of course, are True North as it is now, which would indicate that they were constructed much later than something like this. In fact, this was constructed before the Great Barrier Reef developed, because again, this was all above water during the Ice Age. So that's how old this structure is. It's older than the Great Barrier Reef. So who knows how old that is. That's incredible. So I propose that this is the Great Pyramid of the Coral Sea. And it's an amazing discovery, in my opinion, because it shows how pyramids were constructed. It shows how they did the ramping, all on one side, with the elevated side to be removed at the end. And it makes so much sense, and it's a very wonderful thing. The Pyramid of the Coral Sea right there. And again, it's amazing the orientation, which to me is more evidence that this is an actual prehistoric structure that was not completed, that was flooded before it was completed, which indicates that obviously the ice caps melted in the water, made the ocean levels rise. It might have been pretty gradual, or it could have been sudden. Who knows? But again, there's many areas. With the previous video, we showed what we believe to be Atlantis, or if not, the sister to Atlantis. And that too is in the same prehistoric orientation at this time. I mean, when this was constructed, it was like this, which would make the perfect gates or pillars of Hercules, just as described by Plato. So everything ancient and prehistoric will be off true north, which proves the ancient. It's how old it is. We don't even really know. I mean, think about it. If it's older than the Great Barrier Reef, we could be going back millions of years, which some people believe actually believe there were civilizations that are that old. And there's evidence again all over again that it's hard to date it. They're not sure. So, but in the next video, we'll go over something that we discovered on the coast of Australia. Antarctica. Again, this video features the pyramid of the Coral Sea. I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, I still can just amazed by that find. They're very difficult to find this stuff because you can't see it at this. Right now this camera is 2,400 miles from the Earth. You can't really see it. You can't start seeing it until I can start seeing it there when we're getting about 500 miles from the Earth. You can see in the lower right corner here, shows the distance and the coordinates of the center of the screen. So right now we're about 150 miles above it. You can clearly see it. But that's how close you got to get in to see anything. And Mary and I have examined the entire globe and found many, many anomalies, and we'll go over them in future videos. So I thank you for watching, and we'll Google trot at you later.